Big win. Big win for you, Gal. An important win. Talk to me, bro.
What's going on, everybody? How's everyone doing on this wonderful Sunday evening? Honestly, I'm happy the team performed the way they performed. I'm happy they showed up and they delivered that type of performance, which was extremely physical, extremely under the cosh a lot of times, and they showed the character and the will how to continue to push through the game, even though it wasn't going the way that we wanted to go at certain times. We were under pressure early, and Ramsdale, I feel like he gets over criticized a lot, guys. He showed in that first half why he's our keeper, and what he was doing today was fantastic. Then also, I got to give credit to a lot of the attackers, because they might not have been finishing their chances, but their work rate to get back defensively was helping us a lot, like Martinelli in the opening second. Then Martin Odegaard breaks the duck, gets us the goal, much needed goal that we needed. Immediately after a decision that was rightly overturned, that wasn't a handball. It hit his thigh. And then we went from there, strength to strength in the second half, where I feel like we kept battling with them. We had a shaky start to the first half, and then we weathered the storm, got the much-needed goal from a counterattack, and Fabian Schär tapped it in. The performance of the team, Jorginho, what a performance from him, man of the match today. And Mikel Arteta was rewarded by playing players on merit and not playing players that based on the fact that you think Partey might be better for this game. One thing I do think that he should do, though, going forward, is take out Zinchenko and play Kieran Tierney. I think Kieran Tierney showed today in that second half why he deserves to play and why he should be given more opportunities going forward. I think every Arsenal fan should be happy. I don't think that the title race is the thought process that they're thinking about right now. I just think it's continue to get the wins back and going and get the good mood around the club, because I feel like everyone has just been so down over the last couple of days. It's just good to get a win under our belt. It's good to get a clean sheet under our belt, and it's good to get it all happening away from home against one of the most informed teams in the league. Honestly, very proud as a Gooner today, and everyone should be. Don't let anybody bring you down.
You absolutely should be. I mean, that opening 10 minutes, Gal, was exhilarating. It looked like it could be peak for Arsenal. They were cutting through you. They hit the post. They had the penalty decision to kind of, for Arsenal to work through that, and then for large parts of that second half, then to become the better team. No one cuts this Newcastle team open as regularly as you were doing. It really was a sort of a vintage performance from Arsenal, looking at this season in isolation.
I think we were a little bit lucky, not to take away from the win and the clean sheet, because let's be honest, it was a crossbar challenge at one point. Both teams were hitting the bar. Both teams were hitting the side of the net. It was just absolutely crazy how Newcastle weren't scoring. But I also have to give it credit to our players, because Granit Xhaka put his body on the line. Martinelli put his body on the line. Ramsdale, the awareness to get that header that was so close to him and to get an arm on it. Like, you need a little luck sometimes, but also you can see the work rate and the effort that they put in. Why wasn't this shown sooner? I don't know. But Kiwior, good job from him. And play players on merit. If the player is not playing well, even if they're your best player in your team, you cannot continue to play them. Sometimes you need to take the player who's working the hardest and is putting their life on the line on there before the player that you think is the better player. That's just me.
I hear you on that. I mean, from your point of view, Souls, I know you've been, after the Chelsea game, you were kind of annoyed and angry that you hadn't done this sooner. But are you feeling a bit more proud of the boys today? Is that performance kind of pepped up your spirits?
No, you're on mute.
I said it before the game as well. I'm going to spoil this game and we're going to beat Newcastle. It was written in the script we're going to do this. And I think we're going to go on to beat Brighton as well. And the thing that I'm more proud of, I hate this narrative that there's no pressure on Arsenal, because let's be real, if we now start losing games and dropping points, people are going to say we've completely collapsed. But this team is showing the fight to go, do you know what? We're going to take it to Man City. We're not going to make this easy. And it was quite nice to even hit, like, from the commentary side as well, from ex-players and stuff, to hear that Man City players in this moment won't be sat at home comfortable. They would have thought, okay, there's going to be a cushion for us to go into Goodison Park at Everton and play our game and potentially take an even bigger leap into the title race. But now they're going to have to go to Everton fully focused on firstly beating Real Madrid, then going to play Everton, a ground where they have struggled in the past, controversy and everything. Even last season when the handball and Rodri, everything like that happened as well, where they could have lost that game and potentially the league title. So this is what we need to be doing. And in terms of Zinchenko, I know Zinchenko gets a lot of hate from the Arsenal fans at the moment. due to his defensive display. But if Jurgen Klopp now dropped Trent because he couldn't defend, a lot of what we're seeing now wouldn't be happening. The Martin Odegaard goal doesn't happen without Zinchenko. So there's a balance to this argument. As much as he can't defend, he's vital to what we do. And if we drop him against Brighton, we'll lose that game. And the reason why I say that is the pure control that comes into this team comes from an element of what Zinchenko does. Now, what we need to do is find a way to mitigate the deficiencies that Zinchenko brings to the team. That's what Klopp has now found. He inverted Trent, and what Henderson used to do when he had the legs to do it was cover for Trent. What we need to do is find a way where Saka or someone can cover for Zinchenko when he is doing that role. That's what we need to do. It's not about dropping him plain Tierney, because if we're going to play players on merit, let's be real. Why are we not talking about Saka? I don't want to bash any of these players, but why is Saka's name not being used? Why is it only Zinchenko? No one seems to want to talk about every single player. Now, that's the reason why I call that point out in the narrative that's being spun. But I'll be honest with you. I was against the Jorginho signing, but my God, is that guy a player? I can now see why this guy was a third choice, or even why Chelsea fans were saying this guy deserves to win the Ballon d'Or. What he has done in the past sort of 2 games that he's come in is exactly what I wanted him to do. And what we expect Partey to do, control games, dictate the tempo, be the man that comes on the ball, and basically transform this team. And also Kiwior, do you know what? Fair play, because his debut was horrible. A lot of the things he was doing, he was very rash. Even when he came on, I can't remember what game he came on, but he was very rash and gave up a goal. The 2 games that he's come, I'm proud of him. And I think the mentality of the players that we bring in, regardless of how much backlash or people potentially even being against the signing, the pressure was immense because we signed him for 20 million. People were questioning it. And he comes in and against Newcastle, on form, on fire, beating teams 6-0, 5-0, absolutely whitewashing teams recently, and they couldn't score a goal. I think got to be proud and happy of him.
Let me just say this. I'm not saying I don't rate Zinchenko. I'm not saying I want him out of the team forever or anything like that. I'm just saying we've seen it with Rob Holding. He was protecting poor performances. We don't want the manager protecting poor performances. And if Zinchenko is having a poor game, as he was at times today, he realized to take him off. And if he's going to take him off, maybe give Kieran Tierney some opportunity to play. Because I feel like
the same energy not being given to Saka. That's my problem.
You've been on stream with me.
Be honest. Zinchenko still does stuff.
1 second.
Saka's done nothing.
You been on streams with me. Go on my YouTube channel. Go on my TikTok. Go on my Twitter. Anywhere you go, you see that I was calling for Trossard to start ahead of Saka in this game.
No,
and
I'm
a lot of people
generally the energy is more on Zinchenko, even though Zinchenko's
I understand that some of the Arsenal fan base won't mention it and won't call out Saka. But to be fair, for me, I've been saying it for weeks now. Play players on merit. And it's not a thing where I have been saying, oh, don't play Saka, bench Saka. Ask any of these guys. They've been on streams with me. Ask Terry. I said it the last game. Eventually, we're going to have to rotate players when they're playing well. And you're right. Saka has not been playing well. He's had poor performances since the international break. I could say maybe 3 really good games and the rest of them shaky. So we have the options. Mikel Arteta, utilize your options. And he knows better than me at the end of the day. But all I'm saying is, as fans, we can see certain players deserve to play and certain players don't deserve to play.
I think you're mistaken, Iga. I think you're mistaken. I think you bought Zinchenko knowing that he's suspect defensively and great playing in the midfield and going forward. And he's essential to most of your build-up play. It's on the manager to fix that issue, like what Pep Guardiola did with Cancelo. Cancelo is terrible defensively from his Valencia days, but he is like Pep Guardiola fixed that by having the other right back tucking inside and playing 3 in the back. So why not Arteta doing this all the time? Because there's a massive difference going forward between Tierney and Zinchenko. And their whole plan is for people to hold the ball and keep passing it until you get to the winger. And Zinchenko is crucial to this. And you're asking your manager to drop Zinchenko, and instead of asking your manager to fix the problem, utilizing one of your great players on the ball. I don't get this.
Let me tell you why Igal is saying that, though, because I do agree with Igal. And this is actually the point where I came on today. I only have like a minute because I got to go watch the West Ham game, so just give me a minute. The reason I agree with Igal is because as much as you're right, Mo, you're talking right now about the last 5, 6, 7 games of the season where they start talking about Zinchenko being dropped or not. because of his mistakes. If you remember today, I think at the start of the second half, there was a chance where he got dropped on the left side. They crossed it. Isak hit the post. They got the rebound. He fouled the guy. And then from that free kick, they crossed it, and Ramsdale had to pull off a great save. So that's two quick mistakes that could have led to a goal. Now, the reason Igal is saying that, which I agree with, is because it's too late in the season to start figuring out a system where how can I get the best out of Zinchenko while also covering for his defensive deficiencies. I feel like that's something you can work on in the summer.
Okay,
Man United as an
it will
example,
never
we
be
have
one-
to just give me a second, bro.
Without
Just give me a second.
Zinchenko,
Just give me a
it's not
second.
1-0.
Just give me a second. Just 1 second, bro. Just 1 second, and then you can respond. Us, for an example, in Man United, we kind of have Casemiro who does that role, where a lot of times where we have, because our fullbacks have a lot of defensive deficiencies, especially like Dallo and Malacia when they play, we usually have Casemiro who knows how to drop as a third center back or something like that to help out with these things. These things I feel like you can work on in the summer. I don't think this is the time to be doing that. What I want to give props to Arteta for this game, because I gave him slander a few games ago. I forgot which one it was, and I was telling you guys maybe you're going to need a bigger manager. Today he proved to me that he could actually do these things, but this is what I've been wanting to see from him. I wanted him to make big decisions where, like, I'm dropping Partey and I'm going to put on Jorginho. I'm going to drop, well, he didn't drop Saliba, but you don't have Saliba. I'm going to put in, I don't know how to say his name, the guy, the new center back that you guys have, Kiwior, and he's a lefty, but you put him on the right. Usually he was putting Holden because he wanted a right-footed center back. He made these uncomfortable decisions just specifically for certain games, and this is what big managers do, and this is what I wanted to see from him. So as much as I criticize him for him, so no one thinks I have an Arsenal agenda or Arteta agenda, this is the reaction I wanted to see from him, because to me this win today was much bigger than the win that you had against Chelsea, because this game was much more uncomfortable. You guys didn't dominate possession as you usually do. Terry, you were mentioning that in the pregame. You were like, I'm not sure what was the stats. It was probably slight difference. They actually had 46% possession to Newcastle's 54. So it's actually more than you thought it would be. I think Arsenal, if I'm correct, they averaged 60% possession this season. So that's a huge drop off. That's like 14%. You won, but you're outside of your regular element. And this is what big managers do in these big stages. So that's the thing that I wanted to say today about Arteta, and props to him.
And big up. I just want to say, where's everyone that was calling Arsenal soft today? Were we soft today? Like, people always call us soft. They always say Arsenal soft. We have this soft underbelly. We always play weak. We always are weak. Whenever we go up against teams that are physical, we don't go up for the battle. That didn't look like a team today that wasn't trying to raise their levels and go up for the battle.
We look soft.
So
we look soft.
If you guys are going to talk about softies, if you guys are going to be talking about people who are looking like marshmallows, that's not us.